That was a funny story. I remember calling him, showing him pop guys. Oh man, boy.
Stanley Cup.
I don't have one picture with them both looking the same direction. Not one. All those pictures.
Because Bobby Auto Care pays.
Oh!
Pay your invoice, I'll wear your hat.
Dude, does Bobby's Auto Care have these? Huh?
Capital, right? Let's go down the .com. This is one I think
Does that look right to you? Perfect. That glass is small. Alright, so I can just email you the mark and take over here or something? Good. Like, now, we say podcast. Hot, like, like, when do I email you? Months now, weeks now? What? Months? I don't want podcast, I think so. But, it's all about trying to. Oh, wow. Alright, you know what I'm doing? Fine, where he's going to be. You don't have to be here. Thanks. Appreciate it so much. Yeah, that's the only guy who avoided me in Washington, South Arena, Bobby O'Leary. They're getting all coming out, and he was getting ready to go with nothing. They got a baseball jersey with all the whole team, 95. Oh, wow. That's another guy. Anyway, you ever see Home Team? Who's the last team? They get traded again. It was the Devils? Yeah. Get back to the Devils. How long have you been working with the Devils? Oh, you don't?
Basically around the corner. Oh, yeah, it's fun. All right, Chris, we're going to play national anthem. All right, and I don't know if you want to stand in the crowd. If they stand.
Good point.
Only, Chris, only if they stand.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem, representing the 3-time Stanley Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem, representing the 3-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlen.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous gave you through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
All right. That's right. That's right.
Hey, what do you think of the New York Rangers out there? They suck!
I'll leave it at Durango Steve. Nice and loud. Man, welcome back to the Mother's Ale House, man. Wearing the Rangers Suck shirt at the bar. That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
By the way, we do have Rangers Suck shirts for sale. We've got podcast shirts for sale. All over there at the table, $20 each. We also have Bruce Driver's here today.
Yeah, that's right. Bruce Driver's here. We got a lot of good things going on. There's a lot of So we're going up against the Rangers today, and it's one of those games that's normally you want to get really hyped for, but I don't care what the record is. I don't care where we are in the standings. I don't care what the season's like. This is one of those games that you still get excited for because you know what? You hate that other team so much that it brings that passion out of you. And you know what? Honestly, one of those things that we were talking about earlier is, even though the season's not going the way that we want it to go, you still want them to win tonight, irregardless of where they're going to fall. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we always want them to win. We're not a believer in the whole tank thing, but I mean, at the same time, we talked about it last week. The more they win, it might hurt their possibility of getting a better draft pick. But tonight, no. Tonight, they got to win tonight. And that's not good. That's not good. And I mean, it's funny because, you know, last year when we were in this position and we were around this time in the, you know, last year, we had a podcast and we were talking about the fact that they're making a push for the playoffs. You know, they had a couple teams that were like right on their tail, and we're getting into that. Hey, let's get into the playoff mode. We're excited. We're trying to figure out who they were going to play in the first round. Today, you know, it's the polar opposite. Yeah. Oh, now there we go. There we go. But yeah, I mean, this is it. Like I said, man, it doesn't matter where we're at. It doesn't matter what's going on. You just want to have a good showing. Like, you know, the last couple games that the Devils have had, there's been a rash of injuries. You know, Jasper Bratt might be gone for the rest of the season, which is kind of a shame because he was having you know, a really good sophomore season, and you know, you started to see maturity out of a lot of these different players. But at the same time, it's gonna give these younger guys a chance to really show what they can do. And Bruce is here. He's right behind you. He's gonna goose you. I'm gonna give you the old goose.
Where'd Bruce come? I was sitting right behind.
No. He just needs a new set of glasses. That's all.
Oh, I got my. Great, good to see you guys. Well, this is the first time in 2019, right? Because
Yeah,
together
that's right.
between Christmas and New Year's. So
That's right.
I see you guys. You got your beers. Mine's coming. It's on the way.
I hope so.
It's on the way. On the way. Sporting my shirt.
I love it. I love it. We even made a flag for this week too.
I see that. Very good. Very good. So got a double. They had Grant Marshall here last night for a
Yes,
Devils
they did.
viewing party. So back to back nights. It's
Back
good.
to back. It's great.
I'm nice and close though, so it's literally I could almost walk home.
That's great.
Not quite, but how you doing, buddy?
I gotta say, this little guy right here. Him. Is that your brother or is that your buddy?
It's his buddy.
His buddy? These two are running around saying Rangers suck.
He met me at the door. He saw my car. He says, "I know your car."
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
That's all right. It's okay. I don't mind. Not a problem.
You know, we were talking about last week with Grant about the kind of season that the Devils have been having. Obviously not what we were expecting after last year. What is it like being in this situation? Knowing that you're out of the playoffs, knowing that you have 15 games left and you're just kind of grinding it out for the rest of the season. So what is that like for a player?
Yeah, that's one of the toughest things. But you know, understand they're all professionals, right? And for me, it was, you know, towards the end of my career, we were making the playoffs all the time. So you know, you're always looking forward to the playoffs. You're gearing up for the playoffs. But you know, my first 5 years of the Devils, that's kind of the situation the team's in now. So you know, guys are fighting for jobs, obviously, and you know, we're seeing an awful lot of young players. And I hear tonight we had Nason's out tonight and Quenville's out tonight. Called up 2 more guys. So difficult position for everybody, not just the young players. It's obviously an opportunity for them to show what they can do. You know, but for the veteran players, it's probably even a little bit more difficult for them because the expectation level is to make the playoffs this year. But you know, the reality is, I look back to when I first started in the league. There was 21 teams in the league. 16 made it, 5 didn't. Now there's 31 teams in the league. 16 teams make it, and 15 don't make it. So half the league, you know, are in the same situation as the Devils are this year. And you know, you look at last year, the team did really, really well. You know, the young guys played really well. A lot of guys had career years, and this year was a little bit of a roller coaster ride. It's hard to make the playoffs, but they say you just got to get in. This is going to be a tough stretch for the team, obviously, with all the injuries that we do have, but it's a great opportunity. I still like the way we're playing. I mean, you know, obviously you point to the goal scoring. We're not able to put the puck in the net. I watched most of the game last night. I tell you what, the young guys competed hard. I thought last night, not picking out one guy in particular, but Kenny Agostino, I think, had a great game last night. He didn't score, but I liked a lot of what I saw from him last night. He was, you know, he was hard on the puck. He was making plays in traffic. You know, the young guys are all playing pretty well. It's just a matter of them trying to find out what the league's all about. And it's certainly a a jump to the next level. Whether you're American League player and playing great there, it's not that easy to just make that jump to the NHL and expect to do the same thing.
True.
And this is their opportunity, too, to show what they've got, which for a lot of these guys, to be in that position has got to be like their golden ticket. They're like, let me show what I can do, and let me give you a reason to make a hard choice and, keep me up versus someone else.
Right, and you know what? It's kind of how I ended up landing my own career. And this is kind of the same time of year. I was at a Canadian Olympic team in '83, '84, and played against some of the greatest players in the world. Because, back then the Olympics were, it was Canada, U.S. were not sending their best hockey players. They were playing in the NHL. But the Russians, Czechs, Finns, Swedes, most of those guys weren't in the NHL. So we're playing against the best. And I came here when the Devils were almost eliminated from the playoffs, and that gave me the opportunity to get my foot in the door. So that's the opportunity all these young guys have right now.
Yes.
Is show exactly what they can do. And one thing I do know about Coach Hines is that he'll tell you exactly what's expected of you. So certain guys need to play physical. Obviously, he wants that effort of pressuring the puck all the time. And that's the nice thing that you see a lot of our young forwards. They're all great skaters. They're all great skaters, and he just wants them to be hard of the puck. The offensive part of the game is always going to come. That's kind of a development thing. But like you said, it's a great opportunity for these young guys to show what they can do.
And all of the players, at least, publicly have been saying that they all love how Hines coaches. They all love playing for him. So in my eyes, seeing that positivity from them about playing for him, justifies that extension because they all want to be there, regardless of how the season's ending. It seems like they all want to play for the guy. They all want the guy to continue being there, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's one thing, and even the veteran players say the same thing. They love playing for him. He's a player's coach. He makes them work extremely hard, but when the players see results, they're happy to put that work in, right? Again, he's going to give the young guys every opportunity to succeed, and he again is clear with the expectations. And as long as they're doing what's asked of them, then everything's going to be fine. Obviously, they can't keep them all up.
No.
Coming next year, we get guys back off of injuries, but it's going to be the ones that rise to the top. And unfortunately, in today's day and age, I wouldn't say that there's not room for a player that's not a goal scorer, because obviously every team kind of has their first, second line they're expected to score. But, it's a goal scorer's league now. Goal scoring is up. I saw a stat last night, 6 goals a game is the average now. It's crazy.
It's not a goaltender's league right now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I kind of experienced this myself. You guys know I play goal, right, in men's league. So my gloves got really ratty and stuff, and I bought them through, I don't know where the heck I got them, but I bought them on the internet through, they're Vaughn gloves, really, really nice. I really like them. And I never really done this before, but I just shot the Devils equipment guy a text with him and said, I said, if either the goalie's got, a set of gloves they're not using, they don't like, and that happens all the time.
Yeah.
We used to get gloves, sticks, skates we didn't like. I don't know what the heck they did with them, but so all of a sudden he goes, yeah, no, I'll have my wife drop them off at your rink. So I got these Corey Schneider gloves, and I'm looking at them. I said, this thing looks like a baseball mitt. It's unbelievable how small the goalie gloves and the blocker looks like it's a junior blocker.
They've reduced
the sizes, and I've been wearing them, and I'm like, I'm going to make saves, and I'm going, that thing hit my glove and went in. Why the heck did I go in? So certainly the goaltender's gear being shrunk is attributing to some of the goal scoring going up, but a lot of it is the pure scoring ability that the players have now too.
So speaking of actually playing in the men's league, I know one of the great charities that's going to be coming up soon is the Mikey Strong charity game. And I
am not playing goal in that.
I was going to say, I was going to ask you, are you going to play goal?
No, actually, I haven't spoken to him, but somebody said the other day that Scott Clemens is going to play, and he played last year for us, which was great, because last year, I want to say the goaltending situation has been most of the year is not very even on either side. So you had DiPietro on one side, and you had Carson on one side when he was playing. But we're supposedly going to have Blackwood this year, so that'll be good.
It's funny, things like that, which I think it's an amazing charity. It's an amazing event. A lot of you guys give up your time, and I think that's one of the greatest things about all the things that you guys do. When you get into a charity game like that, it's still got to be fun, but at the same time, you get that competitive edge where you're like, You see somebody going in the corner, and you almost want to turn it on, or?
Yeah, a little bit. With that game, the first couple of years, the players were kind of split up, where the Devils players were on both teams, and then last year we tried to keep all the Devils players together. So I think it becomes more of a rivalry then. Yeah. And unfortunately, you know, I'm not getting any younger, and you know, I had to chase Kovalev around the ice one game, and it's just like he's still like flies around the rink. And he's 10 years younger than I am, so it's just like. That's not fun. I mean, he's laughing at you half the time anyway. So, but no, it's fun. We always enjoy getting back on the ice together, and there's great camaraderie there too.
And that's a beautiful thing about this sport that we play and love. It seems like everyone plays it well, you know, almost their entire life. Whereas you don't really see that with a lot of other sports. I mean, you see, you know, there'll be like adult softball leagues, and, you know, here and there, but there's always adult hockey leagues at all ages, which is just. That's just a testament to the sport in general. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've even seen there was a gentleman that was playing well into his late 80s locally, and I think he probably stopped playing maybe about 5-6 years ago. I used to see him at rinks all the time, and he'd come in there with his wooden sticks, which not many people have anymore, and he's out there playing and having a lot of fun. Actually, one of the officials, you guys are old enough but young enough, like we're young enough when it happened, but 87, 88 when we made the playoffs first year, and everybody knows the Schoenfeld incident with Koharski and that whole mess. And the three officials that did the game back then, they were all off-ice officials that were supposed to work the game, and they were kind of extra guys that were hanging around. One of the guys, he's got to be in his 80s, and he still skates at a Twin Oaks at the rink that I'm an investor in. He still skates there once a week right now, so it's great to still see him out there skating too.
Absolutely. Now, Bruce, we have actually a fan question for you.
A fan question.
Hi, Bruce. I'm here with Santino. Santino, you have a question for Bruce. What would you like to ask him?
What team do you like playing on better, Rangers or Devils? Why?
Who was that first team you said?
What team did he like playing on better, Rangers or Devils? Why?
I don't know who that first team is you said. It's just, I've never heard of them before. No, you know what? I was actually, did you know I wasn't drafted by the Devils? Do you know I wasn't drafted by the Devils? Where did the Devils come from? Do you know where they came from? The team before that? Colorado Rockies. I was actually drafted by the Colorado Rockies that became the Devils, so I was in college. My heart's in New Jersey. I've been living in New Jersey. I've been living in New Jersey longer than I lived in Canada. I grew up in Canada and Toronto. I've been living longer here in New Jersey. Both my kids are born here. My daughter has season tickets. She sits right behind the penalty box. I have two grandkids. They're Devil fans. All right. They have. They call me Brewpaw because my nickname's Brewhaw. So my grandkids have Brewpaw, number 23 on the back of their jersey. So I'm a Devils guy through and through, and I do work for the team. So my heart's here in New Jersey.
All right.
Thank you.
You got it.
I'm also here with Daniel. Daniel, you have a question for Bruce as well.
So do you think the Rangers suck? I can see that on your shirt there.
That's what my shirt says. So that's. I guess the word is a little hard for you. That word is it's affirmative. It's affirmative.
I think that might be the youngest fan question we've ever had.
Yeah, right. They've been running around saying this all afternoon. It's been fantastic.
Like I said, they met me at the door. They were running up. It was awesome. I love it. I actually saw their father come in. I was walking right behind him. So
that's a good lead-in to a question I have. You were talking about earlier about the young kids coming up and getting that shot, and you were saying that you got your shot when the Devils were out of the playoffs and they brought you up. What is that first shift like? What is that first moment where you step on the ice and you're like, holy cow, like this is it.
Yeah.
I've made it.
You know what? It's just a crazy feeling. A lot of nerves. I remember not sleeping too well the night before my first game, even though, like I said, I had a little bit of conference coming off the Olympic experience playing against some of the greatest. Like I played against Fetisov that year, Kazatonov, Larionov, Makarov, Krutov. Their goalies, are outstanding. So it was stepping into that environment, I had a little confidence, but you're still really nervous about your first game, first shift. But once you get out on the ice, it's like everything else, and every player will say the same thing. You're in your environment. That's what you grew up doing. That's what you love doing. That's what you want to do with your livelihood for as long as you can. So, you know, once you step on the ice, the nerves kind of go away a little bit, and you kind of get into that little comfort zone and just do your job and play the best you can play. That's all you can really say.
Can you remember that first shift, or was it just a blur?
I don't remember the first shift at all. I know I assisted Pat Verbeek's goal, which ended up being the game-winning goal that night. But that's, the first shift I don't really remember. That was just like comes and goes so fast.
Yeah.
It's still not a bad introduction, And your first game, you get an assist on the game winner. That's still
it was good. It was great, and growing up in Toronto, I was a Bob Orr fan because he was a defensive legend, right? Yeah. When I was a kid, obviously the Devils weren't around, the Rockies weren't around, and
jersey pin. We've got a lanyard. Bernie Nichols autograph. Thank you, Sam. I couldn't read it. We also have 50/50s. We have one ticket for $1 in arm length. So if you know someone with a long wingspan, I'd have them go buy your tickets. During this point to Kenny. I guess Kenny's got some long arms.
Find the tallest guy in the bar.
Yeah. If you throw Kenny an extra $1, he'll get your tickets for you. We also have podcast shirts and Rangers Suck shirts for sale as well. Over there by Melissa. And we also
Melissa.
We also have pucks for $10 that you can get autographed here by Bruce. So they're the bills being paid right there.
There you go.
Hey, so what was it like getting geared up for like a rivalry game like this? Devils, Rangers, are arguably our biggest rival. What's it like just...
I wouldn't say arguably it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very hard to get up for these games. I mean, again, the players, the young guys are trying to find their way, but, pretty much guys are creatures of habit. Hockey players are creatures of habit, so they prepare for games the same way every single game. But obviously there are teams, divisional rivals, certainly with, the Rangers being so close. I don't know. We used to say it was 7 miles apart, but I don't know what the distance is now that we moved to Peru. But it's awful darn close. So that rivalry is kind of inherent, and you certainly approach it a little bit different. There's a little bit more meaningful to the organization, as we know we're all fighting for fans, and trying to create more Devils fans, which that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm out in the community, and Grant Marshall, Colin White, and Bryce Salvador, Chico, and a bunch of the other Devils alumni are out in the community trying to turn all those fans turn the Ranger fans into Devil fans and make new Devil fans. So those games, obviously, it's, you don't really need to talk to the players about getting more excited about playing those games. It's kind of inherent with what the situation is.
So as a guy from Toronto, coming here to New Jersey, did they kind of say, like, listen, the Rangers, everyone hates? Is that one of those things, like, because, it's like we grew up hating the Rangers and the Flyers. But from coming to a team here, so you have to kind of like, I don't know. I guess as an outside player, they kind of say, "Listen, these are the rivals, and this is."
It's not really. It was never really talked about. You figure it out pretty quick. Through the media outlets and when things are reported, and Devil Ranger game coming out, big game. The players themselves, we didn't sit there in the locker room and say, we hate the Rangers, we're going to go and, beat them over the head and stuff like that. The first thing I really remember coming here, and it was more timing of the whole thing, was I was actually in Calgary with the Canadian Olympic team. We were playing, I don't remember, we were playing a Russian team that was touring, or we were playing the U.S. Olympic team that was touring. But the Devils had played in Calgary, went to play in Edmonton. We had a game in Calgary the same night the Devils played in Edmonton, and we all know what happened that night was when Gretzky uttered those words about the organization. So that was the year I was at the Olympic team, and I came right at the end of the year. So the things that was being talked about that whole year was the reaction to what he had said. And I played with Wayne, and I know he really felt badly about what he said, and he really explained it that he said it more feeling really bad for Ron Lowe, who he knew, he grew up with, and played with the Edmonton Oilers for so many years. I don't think he's ever said anything like that ever before, or obviously said anything after. I know he felt really bad about the comment, but that was the one thing that I really kind of thought about that year, was everything about this situation, what Wayne said about the team and the organization. So with regard to the rivalry, you get it right pretty quick. Okay. The first game you play, you get it, right? It's pretty evident. Thankfully now, back in the first few years that I played, it seemed as though the rink was split 50-50, but it's not the case anymore. We're still see a lot of Ranger fans come to the Devil Ranger games at the Prudential Center, but the pendulum swung way more in our favor, obviously. I wish our management team would say, don't even let them in the building. But it's kind of hard to figure out who the Devils and Ranger fans are, right? It's like people can be hiding. So.
It's not our fault they can't afford tickets to their own home games.
Yeah, right.
That's not our fault.
Exactly.
That's their own team's
You got it.
So we have another fan question with Sam over there.
Yes, I'm here with Durango Steve. He'd like to make up
our super fan, Durango Steve.
Super fan, Durango Steve.
Durango Steve. I used to own a Durango.
Me too. It's the worst car I ever had. Sorry.
Mine was great. Mine was freaking. I ran that thing about 260,000 miles.
Mine caught on fire on my birthday once.
His Durango was a tailgate
That's
machine.
a true story.
It was a tailgate machine. Was his Durango?
So Durango Steve would like to ask a question to make up for last week's blunder.
Can we stop for just a second?
Sure. You're the man.
I want to know why are we looking at the Rangers feed?
That's right. That's right.
That's a good question.
Can we get Mother's Ale House to switch this over to like the Devil's feed? And I'm hopefully we're on there somewhere, but this is. I don't want to be looking at the Rangers coach talking about their team and that.
That's right. Just call Bruce.
Blah blah blah.
MSG plus. MSG plus.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you. For all you've done for the Devils and for us as fans. We really, really appreciate it. If it wasn't for your personal hard work and sacrifices, I don't think the Devils would exist today. They probably would have folded. After the big, huge letdown in '94, if you didn't battle back and show the world when every single prognosticator on the TV would say, no, it's Red Wings, Red Wings, Red Wings. I watched it every game. Even when you were up 3-0, they were still picking the Red Wings. Thank you for that. Coming up. Happy second warning.
He can go on all day. I love it.
Want to know if you have any interesting Lou Lamoriello stories? One of those stories that the fans kind of know of that Lou allegedly is famous for, that years after you had left the Devils, when the Devils were struggling one postseason, there was a story that Lou lost his mind in the locker room and threw a jar of grape jelly against the wall. And I was wondering if you ever heard of that story, or if you have anything interesting you'd like to share with us. Thank you very much.
I wasn't around. I wasn't around for that one. I just know. You know what? We all see and know what Lou did. I mean, Lou built this franchise, right? And that's not bashing Peter McMullen, who was here before, Max McMahon, who was here before Lou, and did a great job as well. But Lou got a lot of negative press about the way that he dealt with the team and the organization. But I can tell you, as a player, we are paid to win games. I mean, you guys come to the games to watch us win, right?
That's right.
And that's the goal. The goal is win the Stanley Cup. And Lou, every player that played for Lou, and you saw a bunch of guys come back to the organization, they came back for a reason.
That's right.
They came back because they loved playing under the environment that Lou set up. And I can tell you, even the people in the office that worked for him, they knew what they were supposed to do. So they had a job to do, and as long as they did their job, no problem. And he wasn't a tyrant, like people claimed he was a tyrant. For me, all I had to do was go out and play the game. And play the game to the best of my ability. And Lou made it really easy for that to happen. The one thing that he did when he first came in, brilliant move. Okay, so a guy would come in, he'd have a bonus for plus minus, and a plus minus means that if you're on the ice for an even strength goal for, you get a plus. If you're on for a goal against, you get a minus. Power play goals don't count unless you get scored on. You get a minus for that. So there were players on our team that had plus minus bonus. Now you think about this: the play's going up ice. You're a defenseman. You see the guy's got a breakaway. You've been on the ice for a minute. You're going to stay on the ice to get that plus because you have plus minus bonus. Now we turn the puck over, the puck comes the other way, and it ends up in your net. And you're going, so Lou, our team, like extremely cohesive because we were all in it together, and we all reaped the rewards of these 5 games. The smartest thing he ever did when he came, and got rid of all the whole bonus system. And you know what? Guys ended up making more money that way, because everybody benefited. And it wasn't just the goalie getting the bonus for a shutout, because the team had to help the goalie get the shutout, right? So it was brilliant, and it put that team mentality. Everybody's part of the areas, whether you're the guys in the fourth line, guys in the top line, top defenseman, backup goalie, whatever. Everybody was treated fairly and evenly.
Thank you so much. In all the years of being a Devil fan, I never knew that at all. Never heard of it from anybody. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you guys are playing for each other for all those bonuses. That's an awesome concept that he instituted.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense to get the team on page, like, working together towards the things that we needed to do to have success, right? It made a heck of a lot of sense. And, look, he went to Toronto. I said I gave him 3 to 5 years to make the playoffs. He did it in 2. Yeah. And now he's on the island, and look at how good they're doing, right? Yeah. So there's no secret. And you know what? I think, Ray's come in and done a great job, and I fully believe in what Ray's doing. And I'll tell you what, you look around the history of the game, some of the best players that play the game were never drafted, were free agents. Some of the best players in the game are guys that were drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Yeah. The more draft picks you can accumulate, because a guy that's 17, 18 years old, we talked about all these kids coming up now. Yep. We don't know if they're going to stay and become NHL players. They're all drafted by us, but it takes development. So it's the law of averages. The more picks you have, the more chances you have of guys turning out to be great hockey players in the NHL. So I think Ray's got the right philosophy. Ownership's behind him. It's still going to take a little bit of time for us to get back to where we were, but that's the hazards of us winning a cup in 95, 2000, 2003, because we didn't get those high draft picks, and tougher to make deals for that. So the way things are set up now, the future is going to look bright. We keep accumulating, developing these young players.
And it also becomes like when you have that success between 95 and 2003, that also gives that expectation where, as a fan, you watch the team, and when you have a season like this where they're having a down season, a lot of the fans, or a lot of us, it's hard for us to understand that rebuild isn't just a plug these 2-3 pieces in and everything is going to be fine. That it is a restructuring of the entire organization, down from the farm system all the way up. And I feel like you said, Ray Shero has got a plan. Everything seems like it's going according to plan. Last year, it felt like we were ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
This year,
well, and that's the point. Like when we made the playoffs last year, and I was part of excited as all heck for us to be in the playoffs and go to playoff games. And when we did not win, I said, I just hope that our fan base understands how fortunate we were to make it last year, because everything went really well. And if we don't make it this year, I hope we don't get turned. The players don't get turned on, because we're building something good here, right? Yeah. I mean, and it's still going to take a little time. Obviously, injuries, to Corey and injuries to Hall killed us a little bit this year, and a lot of other factors that went on. But again, I like a lot of things that are going on with the young players in the organization. I agree with it 100%.
Oh, yeah. I think we got another fan question out there.
Yes, I'm here with Tyler. Tyler has a question for Bruce.
So, who is your favorite player to play with, and why?
You know what? I play. Kenny and I were roommates on and off for 10 years, so I love him to death. Still, my best friend on the team. Still spend a lot of time together, at events and doing stuff like that. Because I play with him the most, I still would probably say Ken Danigal. People ask me a lot of times, like, who was the best player played with? And I played with a lot of greats. I mean, I played with Wayne Gretzky, played with Mark Messier, Scott Stevens, obviously, Marty Brodeur, best goalie ever played the game. But as a defenseman, people are really, really surprised with the players that I had the opportunity and pleasure to play with when they ask me, who was the best centerman that you ever played with? And anybody want to take a guess out there? Anybody like yell out names or something? Huh?
In New Jersey or out of New Jersey?
Take your pick, either team. I really don't know.
Right.
You'll be shocked when I say who it is. Best centerman I ever played with, Peter Stastny. By far and away. Like, Peter Stastny was known as the guy, the point guy, right? 100 points, whatever. Every time we're in a power play, won the faceoff. Every time we're killing a penalty, won a faceoff. Every time I had the puck on my stick in my own zone and I looked up, he was there, open, stick on the ice. The way I teach and coach the hockey team, the youth league teams that I coach right now, he's the guy I bring up. And nobody knows who the heck he is. I mean, the older people do, obviously, that, watch the brothers grow up in Quebec and get their 100 points a year. And everybody thought, oh, he's all offense and no defense. He was an incredible student of the game, good coach, no problem. Again, for me, defensemen are always looking to break the puck out and find somebody to give the puck to, but he was, every single time he had the puck, he was available within 15, 20 feet to make that pass in the stick and made it so easy to get the puck out of your zone. It was incredible. Incredible.
Now, would you equate to him to like Travis Zajac? Because I feel like Travis Zajac is one of those devils that doesn't he gets his fanfare, but he is also one of the most underappreciated for what he does when he faces off. Everything else.
It's an absolute great point. I mean, people, a few years ago, people started saying things about Travis Zajac, and he's too slow and blah, blah, blah. And I saw Travis Zajac 2 years ago in the summertime coming to New Jersey and working on the ice at the practice facility to improve his foot speed. Like, the guy had been in the league a long time. For him to dedicate time to, he had gone to his summer home to come back and train to improve his foot speed is pretty darn admirable, to come back here to New Jersey and do that. But you watch him play still today, and a lot of power plays changed a lot, but if you see, he is so strong in the puck and so smart and so good at supporting his teammates.
Your organization. He's a cornerstone to what the Devils have built and then what they're trying to rebuild.
Right. And
I feel like he could be one of those guys that's going to be that veteran leadership in the locker room. And I hope, for the next couple of years that he sticks around and follows us all the way through, because I feel like there's going to be something good that's going to happen.
Absolutely, I agree with it. And again, I'm not in Lou Lamoriello's head. I'm not in Ray Shiro's head. But if you think about it in this terms, there's a reason why he's still here.
Yeah.
Because there's been rumors about trading him for years and years and years. Oh, yeah, sure. There's a reason why he's here. The GMs like doing like what he's doing, and the coaches that coach him know what they get from him, right? And he's so reliable and so dependent on being in tough situations, and he gets the job done. I mean, how do you get rid of a guy like that?
Exactly.
It's hard to replace. Incredibly hard to replace.
Especially with all the youth we have coming in, someone's got to teach these guys how to be professionals. What to do in what situation, and just some of the small things that they may not know. Coming up as such young players, 18, 19, 20. Someone's got to be that example, and he is definitely it. And I would love to see Brian Boyle come back. after his stint with Nashville because he's
It'd be nice.
It would be fantastic.
Great guy.
He seems like that's the guy you want to emulate in the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the Devils have a bunch of them. I mean, Andy Greenman, the captain, he's definitely helping out with all the defensemen as well. Because we're still, if you look at it, you know, Severson's had a few years under his belt now. Some of the other guys have a couple of years as well. But we're still relatively a young group back there on D, right? Yeah. And a lot of people have said bad things about Andy. And you know, the first few years of watching him play, like they say, it takes a good 3 to 5 years for defense to develop, and he went through that, right? And there were a lot of doubters, and myself, I was even one of the doubters. I wasn't sure if he's developed to become a good, solid defenseman that he is. But you know, you see how he's played so consistently over the last 5 years. He's playing great, you know, and he's the same type of guy that's going to lead by example and show the young guys how it's done and how to be a professional.
And he leads the league in block shots right now.
Yeah.
And I think by like a wide margin too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he's, like you said, he's one of those guys. You have these kind of guys that you have in your organization that are the pillars of what you want or expect. You know, they're not going to get the fanfare of a Taylor Hall, but they're the ones that you can always rely on.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. 100% agree.
And that's one of the things the Devils have always been good at, is picking the right players to fit the mold of the organization. So
we're standing next to one.
I agree.
Dude, I'm not sucking up. I'm being serious.
Yeah, no, it's they always pick good people. You know, it seems like all the players that they get seem to be good people first, and then the good players that they need.
Lou set the table with only bringing in character players. And it wasn't just players, it was coaches, it was other staff, it was hockey staff, it was people in the office. He brought in character individuals, and Ray's brought that along in the same manner. Exactly the same.
Agreed.
Same idea, same philosophy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, we were doing some stuff here and there over the summer for the podcast, and you go online and the fan base is losing their minds because we didn't sign anyone, but it's like, you also have to look at it. If the right guy for the team isn't there to sign, what's the point of just signing someone to sign someone?
Yeah.
Which I think there are a lot of people who just don't understand that concept.
Yeah, the hard part is the sport of hockey is unlike a lot of others. It's a little bit of a different dynamic. You know, I mean, I guess you can kind of compare the position part of it and what each player does to football. I mean, in baseball, and I enjoy watching baseball, but you know, you could legitimately go out and buy the best baseball team.
Oh, totally.
Because it's pitchers, hitters game, right? How many errors are made in the baseball game? Not very many.
Yeah.
So if you got the best pitchers, best hitters, you should win. So if you have the most money and you can go buy the best pitchers, best hitters, you can probably build a pretty good dynasty, right? I mean, it obviously doesn't happen because factors have to go and injuries and stuff like that. But in hockey, there has to be so much cohesiveness, and to your point, bring in character individuals that will come in and they may have had a role different on another team and be asked to do this role on this team and be able to accept that and do that. That's a character individual, right? And there are a lot of guys in there. You know, I'm sure you've talked to Kenny Danico at times about how, you know, he was a big goal scorer in junior hockey and came here and became the guy that had to drop the gloves and defend everybody. And he always tells a story. The year I broke my leg, he was on the power play, and he did pretty well on the power play. The minute I came back, Lou told him, Kenny, you're not going to be on the power play anymore. But coach, with Lou, I did really, really well. He goes, Kenny, you're a drummer. You're a drummer, and drummers drum. He said Bruce is going to be back in the power play. So it's like, you know, guys need to understand their roles, and the character individuals do get that. And you see guys, like, you even look at Stafford, right? Stafford's bounced around a little bit.
Yep.
But there's the guys that kind of bounce around like that, when other teams pick them up, they always see things in him. He's another locker room guy, Stafford.
Yeah.
Tremendous skills, right? Great team guy, another guy that all the young guys can lean on. So there's another guy who was brought in and came back, you know, tryout basis, came back again, tryout basis on the team this year. He's there for a reason. right? Because of his character, because he's helping to lead those young guys.
Yeah. And you kind of miss like a guy like Brian Boyle. You know, they traded him away, and it seemed like he was such a. He was sitting in between Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt or somebody like that in the locker room. And I know we talked about this with Grant last week, where coaches do that on purpose, where they
absolutely.
They put you, in a spot. Now, when you were in a locker room.
And that's how I got my nickname. I had Craig Wolanin on one side and Ken Danica on the other. And Wolanin's a Michigan guy, and in New Jersey, I think nobody in New Jersey really knew too much about rap music, but he was into rap music. So the radio was on, and he, being from Michigan, I guess maybe it was bigger in Detroit than it was in New York at the time back in the mid '80s. But the song came on the radio. It was a rap song, and all of a sudden I got. And Bruja was in the song, and I've got Craig Wolanin like singing the song on one ear, and Dano singing the song in the other ear. That's how I ended up getting the nickname of Bruja. But I think back to those times through the years, they kind of moved us around. Yeah, we definitely got moved around in the locker room to make sure that you're definitely seated beside certain guys, both. And they'd mix it up a little bit too. You wouldn't always be sitting beside a defenseman as well. So all the coaches that we had kind of set the locker room up the way they wanted to set it up for sure.
Do they generally put the goalies by themselves, or do they mix them in with the other players too? Because goalies, which you may be learning now, we're a strange breed. That's they
just kind of try to find an area where they're going to have room for it out. I do have a great goalie story though. Does anyone remember Hannu Kampuri? No? You remember Hannu Kampuri? The Finnish Flash, right? So I don't know how many games Hannu Kampuri played for us, but he probably played less than 50 games. Now, he was he was probably the wackiest goalie I ever played with. So we had the same warm-up like every year. We'd want like our pregame warm-up went out there before puck drop. So we go out there, do the warm-up. We're going, okay, we get it. We got to get him ready. We got to get him ready for the game. So we're gonna warm up a little differently, make sure he's ready. But I'll tell you this: I felt so bad for our head trainer. Hannu Kampuri would come in after warm up, and he would make the trainer take a towel and fan him. And this is a professional NHL trainer fanning our backup goalie between periods. I was just like, what am I watching here?
That's great.
We got future Hall of Fame players on our team, and our backup goalie is having our head trainer fan him between periods. If I was the head trainer, I would have sent the stick boy over to him.
Yeah, right?
It was amazing. And I love Hannu to death. I mean, he's a great guy. He's broken English and stuff, but he wanted the head trainer to fan him in between periods. Oh my God, it was the wackiest thing I've ever seen.
Now, that's
wacky.
Speaking of broken English, they were talking about Yakolev the other game, right? And I forget who they.
I haven't met him. I actually haven't had a chance to meet him.
And they were interviewing somebody, and they were saying, how was it on the ice, because he was transitioning from a defenseman to a winger.
Yeah, playing forward. I know. I was like, I'll play forward. We're that short-handed that we got him up playing forward.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was Rooney. And they asked Rooney, how was it? And he goes, well, his English is kind of a little broken, but he did all right out there. Did you have anybody that you played with where you talk to him and you look at him and be like, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Well, when Fetisov first came over, I mean, he was okay in the English department, but a little bit tough getting through. And Sergei Starikov probably knew a little bit less English. Those two guys, for the most part, with the Devils and they got better as the years went on. But that other team that I played with Esa Tikkanen, and he spoke 4 different languages at the same time.
I've heard that.
And you can talk to any guy that's been his teammate, and nobody understands what the heck he says. Nobody. Words come out of his mouth. Nobody knows, because he mixes up 4 different languages. So.
Oh, God. I heard that was referred to as Tikkanese.
Yeah, it is Tikkanese. It is Tikkanese. But you know what? He's a great guy, fun guy. He enjoyed playing the game, and a damn good hockey player too.
Now I watched, speaking of all these different guys and kind of transitioning into what's going on in the NHL now. I watch Alex Ovechkin, right? And the guy is like a machine, coming off the stage.
He loves the game, doesn't he?
He's crazy.
He loves the game.
Even though he's on another team, I absolutely love the guy because of his passion on the ice. You see a guy like that and the numbers that he's putting up, and you see, Gretzky's numbers, which are probably never going to be touched.
Yep.
Do you think that he has a chance? I know this is like not even Devils related, but this is just something that I'm kind of like been thinking about for a while. Do you think if he plays for the next 4 or 5 years, does Ovechkin have a legitimate chance to catch Gretzky in any of those categories?
That's a tough question. Different eras, that's probably the biggest problem, right? I mean, Gretz is putting up over 200 points a year, which is kind of crazy. And again, play with him, so I know what kind of person he is as well as a hockey player. But, there's a lot of people out there saying he's the greatest goal scorer that ever played. And you can build a strong case for that because he's done it year after year. And again, totally different era. Wayne played an era where there's a lot more goals being scored, a lot less defense. The goaltendings weren't as good as well. And we're talking pure goal scorers. We're not talking best point getters. Gretz is still going to be the greatest player that ever played the game, regardless. But you can certainly build a case for it. When people talk about pure goal scorers, again, we're going to go to another New York team, and I think of him. And I played a little bit against him, but Mike Bossy was like the pure goal scorer of his time. He was the one that scored 50 goals like incredibly fast. And he had his spot on the ice that he got to. And when he had that chance, that puck was in the net. So there are guys that are pure goal scorers and guys that put up a lot of goals and get a lot of points. Gretz was never known as a guy with a great shot, but it wasn't hard, but he was so precise in where he put the shot. And he would score on goals from behind the net.
Crazy.
Pure goal scorers, guys that can fire the puck and it ends up in the net. I mean, I don't know that we've seen any better than Ovi. I mean, he's done it time and time again. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if he'll ever break the records, but he's certainly up there, if not the best goal scorer ever. He's up in the top 3 for sure in my book.
Fun to watch.
Yeah,
it's so fun to watch.
for sure.
So I'm looking for the lineups right here for today.
Now, who do we call up today? I looked quick, but I know we called up 2 more guys. Two more.
It almost is like we have Binghamton up here in New Jersey, which is got to be tough on the AHL and the ECHL too.
Yeah, I don't know who's playing for Binghamton right now. They got
pulling guy like, hey, look, you look like you can play. Like, come down from the stands. We need to fill a spot.
They might have the head trainer and the head equipment guy playing.
As per Amanda Stein.
I should have texted Sergey Berlin today and said, Sergey, who the heck's playing for you guys?
Yeah, right.
I did actually text him earlier in the day, but I didn't ask that question. So.
Do you think Sergey should get a shot in the NHL to coach?
Absolutely. I've known Sergey a long time. I see him a lot throughout the year when he does come back because his family's still here. I haven't seen him too much this year. I've never really had that conversation. It's something that I probably should have at some point if he has that desire to do that. I don't know if he just enjoys helping develop players more than being at the NHL level where it's a little bit different. Pressures are a little bit different on all the coaching staff, obviously. We're working with younger players and working with the developing of those players. Maybe that's something that he really enjoys. I've never really had the conversation with him, but maybe we get him on here. You can ask him that question. There you go, right?
There we go.
So, according to...
he speaks very good English. Have you ever spoken to him?
No.
You ever met him?
No.
Yeah, his English, you wouldn't even know that he's Russian at all. Like he speaks perfect English.
That's awesome.
There's like a little tiny hint, but you wouldn't guess that he's Russian. Put it that way. Very, very smart hockey mind too.
That would be great.
Yeah,
he's good guy.
So according to Amanda Stein, Agostino...
And Amanda's the one that knows, pretty much. We all turn to her.
She's amazing too. And the funniest thing is she tweeted she rolled her ankle. And she's like, I guess I'm a part of the team now because she's like rolled her ankle.
And she's on the IR?
Yeah. But she, Agostino, Zajac, and Palmieri as the first line. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like when the season started, that's, with the injuries that have just plagued this team, that's going to be the first line tonight. Yeah. And I see Sam is waiting patiently.
Well, we had the first line with all of them out, right? When Palmieri was out, Hall was out, and Easter was out. We didn't even have a first line.
That's true.
All 3 of them were out.
That's true.
Bruce, I have a question.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I was watching on YouTube when you scored that goal at Game 3 against the Red Wings.
Yeah.
And the fans were throwing stuff out on the ice, lobsters, fish, all sorts of stuff. I think there was a blow-up octopus. Now, were you actually cleaning the stuff off the ice after you scored?
Trying to scrape up the mess. Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know what? I actually one of the ushers that worked at the old rink for years and years and years and years and years. I invest in a rink in Morristown, and he does a lot of scorekeeping for us. And we were talking about that the other day. I didn't realize he was like near. It was actually one of the Devils fans threw a lobster or threw a octopus in the ice. I go, why the heck would a Devils fan throw an octopus on ice? He goes, I have no idea. He said, and we were supposed to kick the guy out, but there's no darn way I was kicking a Devils fan out.
That's awesome.
He said, I just told him we were gonna just whatever. We'll move you for a second. We'll bring you right back because the security people wanted to boot him out.
One follow-up question before I go.
Are you leaving? Is that
that rink in Morristown that you invested in? Do you want to give a plug?
Twin Oaks Ice Rink in Morristown. We're a little mom and pop place. It's, you know what? It's a great place for your kids to grow up in. We've had Randy Belichick's been our hockey director there. Sergey's actually had his kid grow up in our rink a little bit and do private lessons and stuff there. I'm trying to I just text Jimmy Dowd's going to come in and do some stuff with our summer camps there this summer. Grant Marshall as well. Sergey Breland, Sergey's there. Asked a bunch of our guys just to help out a little bit. You know, we're doing pretty well over there. It's a small, little, quiet little environment over there.
What prep school practices there and plays their games there?
Well, the Morristown Bear girls team plays all their games there.
I just wanted to make sure that I get that in there.
The boys program. Unfortunately, the parking situation is tough over there, so we can't have a lot of boys games over there. They play most of their games at Menon, but the boys practice there too.
Oh, here you go. Here's
Mo Beard legend right over there.
He always does get that Mo Beard plug in.
There you go.
Thank you, Bruce.
You got it.
We got a couple of guys making their NHL debut tonight. Brandon, and it's gonna kill me because I can't pronounce his last name.
I skimmed over it quick, and I didn't really even read it. I just kind of.
Gignac.
I don't know. Gignac?
There you go.
Gignac?
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 How you say it?
I don't know. Maybe we got a
Tangerardi. So we got.
Maybe you can tweet Amanda and say, "Can you give us a pronunciation?"
The actual pronunciation.
Because I
just
and Tangradi.
I mean, it's crazy to think like you look at that fourth line. It's guys that were starting the season in Binghamton. You know.
Well, yeah, you got the bottom six. They're all
Binghamton.
Well, there's seven guys, right? And Agostino hasn't really established himself, so we've got Zajac, Palmieri, Coleman, and Stafford. And Stafford is a tryout, right? Yeah. So we really got Palmieri, Zajac, and Coleman, three guys at forward tonight that really are the guys that were kind of with us last year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
It's crazy to think coming off of last year, and then you see this is how it goes. This is just the nature of the
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the injuries bug that we've had here lately. I know they were talking that the Coyotes had the most man games lost. That was up until like probably a week ago, but we might catch them pretty soon.
Yeah, you got to think.
Pretty soon. Well, again, like it gives these guys an opportunity, so it's for the organization. You know, I think everybody in the Devils fans realize where we are right now.
Yeah.
You know, playoffs are not getting in the cards this year, unfortunately. So the chance that these young guys get a chance to be out there, it's, you know, I'm sure for Ray it's great. You know, great to be able to watch these young kids playing. The same thing for the coaching staff. So let's see what they can do tonight.
Yeah, and actually, you know, I kind of look forward to seeing what the kids can do. You know. I personally don't get to go to Binghamton, which I would like to do more often if possible, but, you know, to be able to see what they can do at this level, you know, in this type of pressure situation game, yeah, it's just, we got to know what we have because we've got to move forward.
Yeah, so absolutely. And there's going to be time, and it's going to still take these guys time, but as long as they come up and, like I said, and do what's asked them and do what the coaching staff's expecting of them, and, you know, when they all get sent down, they don't just get sent down and say, hey, you're going down to Binghamton. You know, the coaching staff doesn't say you're going to the minors. They tell them exactly what they need to work on, exactly what their role is going to be there. When they get called up, what their role is going to be here. So there's expectations for every player that gets sent down and gets called up, and there's a clear and defined line that they're going to be told that this is what's expected of you.
And like you said, Agostino had a great game, you know, yesterday.
Yeah, he was good.
You see here, he got promoted to the first line. I mean, obviously injuries.
Yeah, he really had no choice there. But But yeah, I mean, and again, he's new to the organization. He's only been here now a month or so, so like it takes time for that adjustment to take place too, right?
Yeah.
And he's been bounced around from line to line, playing with different guys. But there's always an adjustment when you're playing a different system too. So credit to him. Hopefully, what we saw last night is things that we're going to see in the future, and start to produce offensively as well. I mean, again, guys have roles. Some guys are expected to score more than others, but if you can do it collectively, and that's the reason why we made the playoffs last year, because we had a collective group from top to bottom, everybody's scoring at their certain in their certain spots and certain times to have success.
So before we get going, because the game's about to start, we're going to have you pick a raffle ticket for one of our door prizes, and the first one we're going to give away is an autograph by your buddy Ken Danico.
Is it a ball? Is it the '80s bobblehead with him and the Ghostbusters bobblehead? I'm still waiting for mine. I don't know.
Yeah, you should ask him. You should be like, hey, when am I going to get my chance?
I don't know. They made a bobblehead, I think, of Pete. Pete, the organ player.
Oh, yeah. He's the man.
The organist. They made a bobblehead of Pete.
All right.
I can't read it. Well, I'd have to put my glasses on.
I got it. So for the Ken Danico autograph, Bruce's old roommate.
There's a baby sitting up for it right there.
Get white raffle tickets. This is a white raffle ticket. We have numbered 188. 2927 188-2927 on a white raffle ticket. Anyone? Oh, 188-2927. We got it right there.
Ken Danico.
I just want to point out that we have to say a very special thank you to our friends who brought this amazing Stanley Cup replica over here. If you could pan over to that Stanley Cup over there. I walked in and I damn near had a heart attack.
I came in, I thought it was the real thing. I was like, my God.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
How'd they get the Stanley Cup here?
That's an incredible replica right there.
That's something.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you made that by hand. That's insane. That's incredible. Awesome. Except for the top.
Oof.
So if you guys get a chance, go over there and check it out. That's an amazing replica.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for bringing that over. That's really cool.
So do we want to do game predictions before we get going?
Game predictions.
Who's going to win? I mean...
Okay, so last time we
haven't been giving up many goals, so I'm hoping. Do we know who's playing goal?
Corey and Lundqvist, from what I saw.
Corey and Lundqvist. Probably be a low-scoring game.
2-1 Devils.
2-1 Devils.
2-1.
All right. Okay.
I'll go.
Well, you're not picking the Rangers. I know that.
No, absolutely not.
You better not, or you might not get out of here alive.
No, because I'm trying to think. You know what? I kind of want to go bold, and I want to say Snyder's going to get a 2-0 shutout.
Hey, all right.
I like it. He's had some really good games since he came back and been injury-free. So
absolutely.
Yeah, let's hope. I know the last one wasn't as good as the other ones. Let's hope he bounces back. It'd be great to see. Absolutely.
What do you think, Sam?
8-0 Devils.
That's speaking with your heart, right?
That is speaking with your heart, Sam.
Yeah.
Let's hope that happens. I'd love to see it. Absolutely.
Here's our official lineup right up here.
Official lineup.
There we go.
Still no official on who's playing goal, but we're thinking it's Corey, right?
Yeah, from what I saw it was Corey. So.
Okay. I like Pietla last night too. He was great in the penalty kill. A lot of block shots. He got in front of a couple of Ovechkin slap shots.
So who's the hardest shot you ever blocked?
For me, hardest shot, Al McGinnis. Yeah, Al used to win. He used to win the hardest shots. Yeah,
he was winning that with a wooden stick too.
Yeah, I was never. He could bring it.
You imagine if in his prime, if he was using the composite sticks that they had now.
Oh yeah.
How hard he would shoot it?
Well, like it's crazy. Like when we had our reunion game for the '95 Cup team, we had almost every guy come back, and Marty didn't want to play goal. So you guys know I had to play goal for 2 periods, and Brian Rolston fired 3 shots over my glove hand, and I didn't even see the damn thing. And then I'm looking on I don't know if it was on Facebook or Twitter or where there's some social media or some video I saw a week later. He's back in Minnesota. Radar gun. He's over 100 miles an hour. The guy's retired. He's already been retired for like 4 years, and he's still shooting the puck over 100 miles an hour. I'm just thank God he didn't hit me in the head.
Well, we're getting ready for the game. It looks like it's going to start soon. I just hope, honestly, like we said earlier in the show, however the season's gone, we just want them to win tonight. Like these big rivalry games, whenever they're playing the Flyers, Rangers, or the Islanders, maybe not so much Islanders, but when they're playing these rivalry games, it doesn't matter what the standings are.
Yeah.
You hope that the team comes in and shows up.
Oh, for sure.
Puts in a good effort and hopefully comes out with a W.
Absolutely. And that's the goal tonight, right?
That's the goal tonight.
Let's go Devils.
Let's go Devils. Before we
Good to see the youth.
There you go.
But you realize,
you got to get him on your podcast.
You have such a huge influence in this. You know what I mean? Like you see young kids like this, it's gotta feel kind of cool.
That wasn't your tickets, were they? Oh, those are the Rangers sucks stickers. Yes. There you go. There you go. Throw them in the garbage. No.
Sorry to whoever has to clean that up.
It's confetti in here. Look at that.
So I just got the official word. It is Snyder over Lundqvist. So.
Okay. Well, it's not surprising. Blackwood played last night. Played well. So back to backers. It's all good.
Bruce, thank you again for coming out.
All right, you got it, guys.
As always.
Appreciate it.
So everyone, enjoy the Devils game. Again, we've got podcasts and Rangers Stuff T-shirts for sale. Autographs donated by Devils Diehards. We've got some more raffles and giveaways donated by Molnar Roofing. We have 50/50s, 1 ticket for $1. We have an arm length for $10. And I think at that point, that's about it. Let's go Devils and Rangers Stuff. And everyone, we'll see you in a little bit between periods. Some more giveaways.